Mr. Edit Man presents. What's something you have gotten away with as a kid because they're young and do not know what they're doing, when really you knew exactly what you were doing? The first 2 years of elementary school I had to take the public bus 2 times a week to get to my school. So my mum gave me money for the ticket each morning I needed it. What she didn't know, I never once bought a ticket and kept all the money. 2 times I got caught, but pretended I didn't even know how to buy one, and they let me go because I was so young. I threw a water balloon during a birthday party at my friend's dad that I did not like. Made him spill his drink. I was like 5 or 6. Do you remember why you did not like him? He was my T-ball coach, and he made me play first, but I could not catch. I used to wait until my mom showed up at the babysitter's to pick us up to ask for snacks. She would never give them to me throughout the day, but she would not say no when my mom was standing there. One time, I became a black market candy shop owner at school. Of course my parents thought I did not know better, but I had a whole business plan. Eventually I made $400 bucks and my parents realized that I was becoming some sort of weird hustler that knew too much financially. I lost the touch as I got older though. I was on a trampoline, and my older brother kept pushing me whenever I tried to stand up. He repeatedly did this about 7 times. He pushed me all the way to the springs. I tried to stand up again, and he pushed me off the trampoline. Because of the way he pushed me, I was falling headfirst, so I reached above my head to protect my head from the impact. I broke my fall with my arm, and I broke my arm with my fall. Compound fracture. Bone pierced the skin. It popped back in immediately after stabbing my skin, so I never got to see the bone. He told our parents that I was about to fall off the trampoline, and he tried to catch me, but he accidentally pushed me, and my parents thought he tried his best, but as just a kid, so at least he tried to catch him. This reminds me of something I actually went through. There was a 6-year-old who used to step on me and my sister's feet. We normally didn't have socks on. Twist so that it hurt more. Then when we got mad at him, he would say I am little with a smile. When I was maybe like 3-4 years old, I remember going to the fridge for a snack at maybe 3 in the morning. I accidentally knocked a whole carton of eggs onto the floor. I think I kind of just pushed the broken eggs and stuff under the fridge with paper towel. All of it. It was hidden pretty well, if I remember correctly. I do not remember any aftermath from the incident. Weird. This thread was made for me. I was one of those kids who was smart, but had very little common sense. So doing these types of things was not unusual for me. I was in Pop Warner. Think kids from 10, 13. Football, and I absolutely hated our assistant coach. He was the quarterback's dad, and a complete asshole to me was the center. That is, the lineman who hikes the ball to the quarterback. Every time something went wrong it was my fault. Always making me run laps. Picking on me for having a squeaky voice and being overweight. With the benefit of hindsight, I have no idea what was wrong with this guy to be so malarkey to a kid. Anyway, we went to the playoffs, but lost our last game to a much better team. I had seen people dump Gatorade onto the coach on TV and thought, duck it, now is my chance. He was wearing a white polo with khakis and I dumped a whole jug of red Kool-Aid on him. I smiled and shouted, great season, coach. He was pissed, but completely shocked too. My dad ran up quietly but sternly asking, what are you doing? And I just said that I saw people do it on TV. The coach laughed and shook his head. He patted me on the shoulder and said, people really only do that when you win. But I understand how you got confused. The whole team went to dinner after that. Dude had to spend the rest of his evening in sticky pink clothes. It was the first time I ever felt like I got away with anything. I do not know if this fits because I do not remember it at all. But when I was around 3 or so, my sister, 10 years older, kept getting blamed for eating all the ice cream and would deny it, which made my mom mad. Then one day, my mom rounds the corner into the kitchen, then quickly pulls back to watch little old me drag a chair from the table over to the freezer, grab a spoon from the drawer, open said freezer and dive into the ice cream. Finish and put the ice cream back. Close the freezer, lick the spoon and put it back into the drawer, and pull the chair back over to the table. It was almost the perfect crime. I used a lot of things in the pantry to make a cake. I had no idea what I was doing, and I knew very well that it was not going to turn out any good. I made a mess with flour and sugar and chocolate and everything I could find that sounded cakey. My cake was a disgusting blob with sprinkles and jam on top. I was kind of proud, but I knew I had messed up. I even ate some of it. They made me clean, but I was making it worse, so I got help. When I was little I thought I wanted to become a famous cook, and I thought I was so amazing at putting foods together. One day, I made my parents a grape sandwich, consisting of smooshed grapes, a bucket load of butter on 2 slices of bread, and chocolate sauce. When I presented this creation to my dad, he said he'll only eat it if you finish it for me, just to let me know it tastes good. At that point in time, I was young and didn't understand that he meant for me to eat this whole grape sandwich and then let him eat it too. I ended up walking to the backyard and spitting my wonderful concoction onto the grass, eating the giant chocolate egg my brother got from school the second he went to get my mom to show it. My girlfriend works in a kindergarten. The boys are in love with her, so first they started asking things like, "Do you wanna go out? And do you wanna be my girlfriend?" and such. Then it evolved to them slapping her in the but every time they went past her. They are 6-year-olds. Zipped my sister in a suitcase and sent her down the stairs. Nothing happened and she was a bit traumatized, but no physical injury on my part. Hers too, I guess. I cut the tip of my finger with those small grooming scissors cause I wanted to see if it would hurt. It did not. I just freaked out at the amount of blood coming out of my finger. Scared the hell out of my teenage brother at the time. My grandfather was always grumpy and did not like kids. So as he climbed the stairs, I'd pinch him on the butt with a pair of dad's needle nose pliers. He'd yell, "Drag your ass on out to here. Yeah, damn little kid." But mom would smile and say, "He's just being cute." My parents had weird schedules, so for school, my mum usually packed my lunch in the evening and my dad would give me lunch money in the morning, not knowing that I already had lunch packed. I continued that scam for a couple of months until I had enough money to buy a wig, which is when my parents noticed that they have been tricked by a 7-year-old, but of course they did not think I did it on purpose. The funniest part of this is the thought of a 7-year-old bringing home a brand new wig and the parents just going, "Huh." That's where my plan was destroyed. My dad drove me to an electronics and the checkout person thought something was off about a kid running around with so much cash. He asked my dad if it's okay that he's selling it to me, and my dad was really confused. I wrote on the wall 3 big C's in blue crayon when I was about 3 or 4. My name starts with a C, so it looked like my sister was trying to get me in trouble. Was not me who got yelled at that night. I committed a minor fraud when I was like 12 by engaging a contract I knew could not be enforced. I received some goods that were trial and had to be paid for if kept past a certain date, which I had no intention of doing. The seller company's rep called my house when I was out and got a hold of my dad. He asked them to provide proof of his approval of this setup, and of course, they could not because they sent me the goods without noticing or caring that there was not a signature from a parent. My dad takes me aside when I get home and asks me if I received these goods, a bunch of oversized baseball cards from some boutique company, and if I understood that I needed his permission. I told him I thought free trial meant I could keep the initial shipment and just not buy anything else, and that the parental permission only was needed for actual purchase. That was a lie. I planned the outcome from legal knowledge I got from TV. I knew the worst thing that could happen was they would not send me the stuff to begin with due to lack of parent sig. Not something I would do as an adult, since not being an adult was the basis of the scam. Lol. Mooning some lady on the highway when I was like 7. Ed just watched some funny movie where there was a mooning joke. So there I am, in the backseat of my mom's car. We're going to meet up with the rest of the family for dinner at Sizzlers and there's remnants of the rush hour traffic. Lo and behold, my idiot 7-year-old self thinks it would be funny to moon someone in slow traffic. My victim followed my mom off the highway to the Sizzler and approached her when she got out of the car. "Do you know what your son just did?" To which my mom told the lady to lighten up and told her to get lost. I guess stealing money from my dad so I can buy Happy Meals and get the toys in them. Poor dad barely even had money back then to support us. Kinda feel like malarkey now. Here is a random reminder to like the video if you are enjoying it, and subscribe if you have not done so yet. When I was really little, a year or so into using the bathroom mostly on my own, I decided I wanted to use a potty again this time. But only the top part was there, just the seat, no bowl to be found. Now I do not recall exactly what my motivation was, but I definitely remember I knew exactly what was going to happen as I decided the lack of bowl would not be stopping this train, and how hard it was to not to laugh and keep acting confused as my mom was patiently explaining how it worked. And did I forget how to use the toilet while there was a puddle on the floor, like I had made some honest mistake. My granddad lived with us when I was growing up, and he was really a very mean-spirited man and talked awful to most everyone including my sister and me. Once his brother who lived a few states away parked his RV in our yard for a few months, and one time I overheard my granddad say he wished he'd move that ugly thing out of our yard. Well, when his brother came to visit I repeated this in front of both my granddad and my great uncle, and it embarrassed my granddad so bad. I left the room acting like I was just being a kid who accidentally let something slip, but I knew what I was doing the whole time. When I was 10, and my younger sisters were 7 and 4, we hated our babysitter. Me and the 7-year-old spent a whole month saying how much we hated her, and that she was not in charge of us, etc. in front of the 4-year-old. One day I heard the babysitter crying. Go to check what's happening. And the youngest said to her that she was not our babysitter, and we would not do whatever she wanted us to do. The girl probably wanted her to take a bath or something. The girl resigned that day. My little sister did not even say that she was repeating what we said, but I knew it was my fault. I'm the oldest child in my family, so had not experienced it much, but the amount of malarkey that my kid brother gets away with that would have gotten me in trouble is unbelievable. You have made it until the end of this video. Now listen here, and listen here closely. Like and subscribe for more curated content from Mr. Edit Man. Thanks for watching.